Okay, a brief review of the various blend modes for the layers. On normal, and I'm going to be using these same three colors here. We've got the normal with a gray on top and a blue on the bottom. The normal, I made this nice orange color. And as you can see, the gray and the blue just override that. In order to see what's below and blend them together, you change the opacity here. So basically I click on the little N there, and then I lower the opacity. You can also two-finger tap on the layer, and that brings the opacity slider up at the top of the screen. And then you use your Apple Pencil, make it go left and right to change the opacity mode. And that's the first and most basic method of blending. Then we've got multiply, darken, color burn, linear burn, and darker color. The multiply mode multiplies the luminosity of your base color, which is my orange color here, by the blend color, which is gray on top and blue on bottom. The darken doesn't really blend the pixels. It compares the base color and the blend color, and then keeps the darker of the two. Color burn kind of mimics the color burn that you use in traditional photography. It increases the contrast between the base and the blend colors. So that's why you get this dark red at the top and black at the bottom. Linear burn decreases the brightness of the base color by your blend color. Gray at the top, blue at the bottom. As you can see, you get a darker red, and it's just still black at the bottom. And darker color is kind of like darken, but instead of looking at each red, green, blue channel individually, darker color takes a composite of all the channels and puts them together. So that's why you have darken over here at number 2, and darker color, you get different results. And that's because the darken compares the individual red, green, blue, and the darker color just takes an average of everything. And then we're going to come here to the next 5. We've got lighten, screen, color dodge, add, and lighter color. What lighten does is it compares the base and the blend color, base color being the orange, and the blend color being, in this case, gray or blue, and it keeps whichever is the brightest of the two. Screen produces different levels of brightness based on whatever color you use. Now, the reason that my gray and the blue look the same here is because I use the same brightness of both of them. Color dodge is kind of like the dodge tool used in photography. It brightens image by decreasing the contrast between your base color and your blend colors. Add is kind of like screen and color dodge, but it'll produce an even stronger result of brightening those pixels. Whereas lighter color compares the two colors between the blend mode and the base color and chooses whichever is brighter. So because my base color is brighter than the gray or the blue, that's the one it chooses there. And then we have overlay, soft light, hard light, vivid light, and linear light. The overlay is kind of a combination of multiply and screen. It lightens and darkens. The darker blend colors shift the mid-tones to a darker color, and light tones shift to a brighter color. So that's why you end up with a rich color on the top and a less saturated color down here at the bottom. Soft light is kind of a gentler version of the overlay. That's why the effect is not quite as much. Whereas hard light sort of takes multiply and screen and mashes them together. It uses the brightness values of your blend layers to make your calculation. So it tends to be a little bit more intense. Vivid light is like an extreme version of overlay, or soft light for that matter. So you get a richer difference between the two. Whereas linear light combines kind of like the dodge and the burn effects. Basically uses dodge on the lighter color pixels and uses burn on the darker color pixels. And it tends to work a little bit better if you reduce the opacity a little bit. And let's go ahead and do that on this, and I will show you. Actually, let's move this to where you can actually see it, and then I will reduce the opacity. And you can see how that just kind of makes a big difference if you reduce the opacity of the blend mode on that. So then our next 5 are pen light, hard mix. That should be hard mix, not hard light. Difference, exclusion, and subtract. The pen light is another extreme blend mode. It performs darken and lighten simultaneously, so all the midtones get removed. That's why it looks the same color on the top with the gray, but it looks green with the blue at the bottom. The hard mix, not hard light. As a matter of fact, I want to change that because I'm anal. There we go. I don't want dictation, but thank you. There we are. The hard mix flattens the details. It creates a really super flat, super saturated result. And basically, it only uses white, black, and any of the 6 primary colors, the red, the green, the blue, cyan, magenta, or yellow, out of the colors that you have chosen. So my gray and my blue, the gray, it's only using the white and the black, and the blue, it's only using the hard blue, not the desaturated blue that I use there. The difference uses the difference of the base and the blend colors. And why do I not have anything on difference? Oh, because I changed that to hard mix. I don't know why I did that. This needs to be normal. There we go. Now we can see it. There we are. So it takes the difference between the blend colors and the base color to create a blend of the two. Exclusion works the same way, but it works only on blacks and whites. It doesn't darken anything. It doesn't darken the grays, which is why you end up with gray at the top and a really washed out blue at the bottom like the hard mix has. Subtraction darkens the colors drastically. It subtracts all the brightness from the color on your blend layer, and that's why you get these darker colors. And then our final 5 is divide, hue, saturation, color, and luminosity. The divide does the opposite of the subtract. It creates brighter results instead of darker results. The hue changes the hues while maintaining the tones and the saturation of the original. So it took the blue and the gray and basically it didn't do anything because there was no difference. Saturation preserves the luminosity and the hue of the base layer and puts that into the blend layer. The color preserves the luminosity of the base layer, but adapts the hue, the color as you will, and the saturation, which is how deep the color is, of the blend layer. And I'll explain why it looks like the regular gray and blue here soon. Luminosity preserves the hue and the saturation of the base layer, but it adapts the lightness or darkness of the blend layer, which is why you get a darker orangey brown on top and even darker on the bottom. Now with the color layer, I've got the same gray at the top and the same blue at the bottom, but I changed my stripes. As you can see, I've got a white, I've got a black, I've got the same browny orange color. What color is this? Oh, it's a washed out red. And I've got a lighter desaturated blue, and I've got a purple. If your color is straight white or straight black on the base, that's all you're going to get whenever you put a color on top of it. It only affects colors between white and black, which is why I have various colors on this, so you can see the difference there. This is a good mode to use if you change a color into black and white. I'll link in the description a tutorial I have where you paint clouds all kinds of different colors. And basically this is a fun one to play with, I think. But that is a summary of all of the blend modes you have for your layers. I hope this helps you out, and you have a wonderful day.